Good morning and welcome back to my channel. We are starting lecture number 65. Title is Kingdom Monera. In this, we will study two different categories of bacteria, Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. So yesterday we discussed 5 kingdom classification and other classifications also. Today we will focus on salient features and classification of Monera, the first kingdom in 5 kingdom classification. So first we will talk about general features of this kingdom. So this paragraph of NCERT, it talks about the presence of members of this kingdom. They are present everywhere. They're omnipresent. Be it ocean or snow or land, hot springs. Hot springs have boiling water. So look at the temperature range. They can live in minus degree as well as boiling water. Marshy areas are anaerobic areas and they are also present on human body. So the term which is given for these normal bacteria, the good bacteria, it is normal flora. So see, whole human skin, it is covered by bacteria. तो एक लेयर जो ये नॉर्मल बैक्टीरिया की है इसको हम नॉर्मल फ्लोरा कहते हैं एंड इट इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ योर डिफेंस सिस्टम. It protects and it prevents pathogenic bacteria from settling on your skin. Okay, so when you're using any disinfectant, any kind of sanitizer, don't overuse it. Okay, just soap and simple water wash is enough, and because you don't want to kill these bacteria. Okay, they are a protective layer on your skin. Then next paragraph, it talks about 4 categories of bacteria. So based on the shape, they are given specific name. Rod shaped are bacilli, spherical shape are cocci, comma shaped vibrio, and spiral shaped are spirilla. Based on these 4 shapes, bacteria are categorized into 4 categories. Then this paragraph talks about the metabolic diversity, extensive metabolic diversity seen in this kingdom. So they can be autotrophic, okay, or heterotrophic. And then again in autotrophic, they can be photosynthetic autotroph or chemosynthetic autotroph. So this was all about general features of kingdom Monera. Now we will look into Archaebacteria. This is the paragraph on Archaebacteria. It talks about where they are found. So they are found in harsh habitats like extremely salty area or hot springs or marshy areas. So this is the name given to this category of Archaebacteria. Halophiles, thermoacidophiles, methanogens. So see, the name is self-explanatory. Halo is for haline, okay? Haline word is for salty areas, okay? So halophiles means salt loving. Same way thermo, that means high temperature. Acid, low pH. So high temperature, low pH loving bacteria. And methane producing bacteria. Gens are generating. Methane producing or methane generating bacteria. So what is special about Archaebacteria is their cell wall structure. This cell wall structure is different from, so the cell wall structure is different from Eubacteria, and this feature is responsible for their survival in extreme condition. This is important point. Okay, please make a note of it. The good thing is in NEET syllabus you don't have to study the details of their cell wall structure. Okay, just understand that the cell wall is different, and because cell wall is your protective covering, it will help in surviving in extreme conditions. Methanogens are present in the gut of several ruminant animals like cows and buffaloes, and this is the reason cow dung is used for production of methane biogas. Then next paragraph, first important point in this paragraph is there are thousands of different eubacteria, and eubacteria, this EU stands for true bacteria. Okay, they are characterized by the presence of rigid cell wall. And what is the composition of this rigid cell wall? It is peptidoglycan plus amino acids. And if they are motile, the motility is because of flagellum. Cyanobacteria, they are category of bacteria which are also called blue-green algae. And they are greenish because they have chlorophyll A, which is similar to green plants. And they are photosynthetic autotrophs. So any cell which has chlorophyll, the important role is in photosynthesis. So cyanobacteria can be unicellular, colonial, or filamentous. You don't have to by heart these names. I just added these examples for your understanding. Okay, so that you just make yourself familiar with these terms in case such a question is prepared. But for NEET, you only have to remember this point. Cyanobacteria are unicellular or colonial or filamentous. They can be found in freshwater, marine, or even terrestrial areas like moist soil. So see, this is filamentous blue-green algae, and this special cell, okay, heterocyst is also a kind of cell, but it has thick wall, and this thick wall will create anaerobic environment, which is very important for the activity of this enzyme. Nitrogenase enzyme, it fixes atmospheric nitrogen gas into organic molecule. Okay, so heterocyst is a special kind of cell with thick wall and this enzyme which helps in nitrogen fixation. So chemosynthetic bacteria, they are also autotrophic bacteria. They are called chemosynthetic instead of photosynthetic because they oxidize various inorganic substances like nitrate, nitrite, and ammonia and use the released energy for their ATP production. So when we will do photosynthesis chapter, the first part of photosynthesis is ATP production. Okay, these two molecules are important. So this ATP, it traps the energy of photons. Okay, and ATP is produced. And in this case, chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria will use the energy which is released from oxidation of these inorganic compounds. So oxidation will release energy and that energy will be trapped in ATP. So once ATP and NADPH are produced, then it will be used in CO2 fixation. So CO2 plus H2O will form the organic molecule and oxygen. Okay. Then the third category, heterotrophic bacteria. They are most abundant in nature and majority are important decomposers. They are helpful in these activities like making curd from milk. The famous example is lactobacillus, production of antibiotics, fixing nitrogen in legumes roots. So this also you have learned before. This is called rhizobium. Okay. Then fixing nitrogen. Then fixing nitrogen without the need for leguminous plants. Those are called free-living nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Example is Azospirillum and Azotobacter. And then there are pathogens also, like the bacteria which causes cholera, typhoid, tetanus, citrus canker. The next paragraph talks about their multiplication, survival, and reproduction. So under a favorable condition, it will use the resources from the environment, okay, and it will duplicate, multiply. So this process is called fission. On the other hand, under unfavorable condition, it will form a structure which is called spore. It is also called endospore. And these are dormant structure and the outer covering is highly resistant to chemicals and high temperature. Okay. Then they also reproduce by a sort of sexual reproduction by adopting a primitive type of DNA transfer. So this is something which I have discussed before also in the chapter cell. So this structure is called pili. It is like fimbriae, but it is not fimbriae, okay? They are typically longer, and the only one or few pili are present on bacteria. They help in the process of conjugation. So conjugation is basically transfer of DNA from this bacteria to other bacteria. Then it also talks about mycoplasma. So what are mycoplasma? They are smallest cells. Okay. This is the size 0 0.1 to 0.3 micrometer. This is also discussed in the chapter cell. Completely lack cell wall. This is very important point. They can survive without oxygen. So they can behave like intracellular parasites. They can reside inside the cytoplasm of other cells. So you will also hear about mycoplasma, PPLO. PPLO stands for pneumonia-like organism. This is old name of mycoplasma. And why they are called mycoplasma? Because myco stands for fungus-like branching filaments which they form. And plasma is denotes the plasticity in shape. Okay. See, this is the image from that chapter cell. So notice the size, it is 0 0.1 micrometer. So usually the size of bacteria is 1 to 2 micrometer. They are 0 0.1 micrometer. Because of the small size and flexible structure, no cell wall, they can pass through bacterial filters. So initial scientists, they thought that PPLO are viruses. But then later they were confirmed to be bacteria. So this was all about kingdom Monera, Archaebacteria, Eubacteria. In Eubacteria, autotrophs, photosynthetic autotrophs, chemosynthetic autotroph, heterotrophs, then about mycoplasma. There is a lot to study here, so keep revising this topic. Okay? Tomorrow we will discuss Protista. Thanks a lot for watching my video and take good care of yourself.